I think it's registering your actual belief in your heart, and it's seeing that.
Right.
It is all heart. It's heart. Yeah. All right, look. But heart is the appropriate word, because that's what I'm banking on. Their heart. Their never say die attitude. I was inspired late in the third quarter. Game looked like it was over.
Yeah.
And they came back behind T.J. McConnell, rallied early in the fourth, and got within 2. So I believe that they can pull this out tonight. All postseason, they've been proving people wrong, including me earlier in this season. But Milwaukee, Nick, even though they were favored, a lot of people thought because of Giannis and Dame came back that Milwaukee would win. Obviously, they were the underdogs heavy against Cleveland. Not only win, but do it in 5. Underdogs against New York. Steal game 1 when most people thought it wouldn't even get to 6 games. So they've already defied the odds. So I believe tonight that they can go ahead and get it done. On top of that, they got a great coach who's had a few days now to come up with something. You know, OKC found something. They went big with the starting lineup. They won the last 2 games.
They found something. What they found was the thing they've been doing all year that maybe they should have just stuck with.
Should have stayed with that. But, yeah, I think, you know, they got a good shot. And I think Haliburton can have a big game.
Really?
Even though I think he might be able to come out and have a big game. So I'm going with the Pacers to win this thing.
Okay, so a few things. One is you laid it out well about what they've done. What they haven't done at any point in this postseason is been behind. What they you know what I mean? They've jumped out 2-0 in every series other than this one, and this one they jumped out 1-0 and then 2-1. So not only have they not faced elimination, I'm not going to say they haven't faced adversity. Playing 64 when Cleveland is facing adversity. Playing Giannis is not having home court in the conference finals. I get all that, but they have been in control of all these series. And by the way, that was the case a game and a half ago. They were up 2-1. In control of Game 4. And I worry for Pacer fans and for Carlisle and Haliburton and everyone involved that they are going to look back to those final 15 minutes of Game 4 as the moment the championship slipped through their fingers. If they are going to, however, at least extend the series by winning tonight, I think the recipe is, and this is very kind of simplistic, but like you've said, when Haliburton scores 20, they win. The other thing is when they get to 111 or more, they are undefeated this postseason, and they've lost every game they haven't. So I'm putting the number at 115, and this is what I think the kind of combination of it has to be. I think that you need to get 45 from Pascal and Haliburton. I think it's probably likely 30 and 15 Pascal and Haliburton. Okay. But I think those 2 guys. I think that asking too much offense out of Nembhard and Nesmith is a mistake because those guys are tasked with so much defensively. So I would say 20 combined from those 2. And that leaves 50 points for these 3 players.
Still a lot of points.
But for these 3, this is how I think they're going to have to do it. For the 3 M's, T.J. McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, and the guy that I have been saying all series has to have a big game for them to be able to pull off this upset of the series in Miles Turner. Yeah. Can Mathurin give you one of his 20 points in 17 minutes, even if he plays more than that, but like one of those bursts? Yeah. Can McConnell give you another 10? And can Miles Turner, who again in his playoff career has gone for 25 plus, I think 6 times, this regular season went for 30 plus, I think 5 times. We have seen him in his playoff career. He has 6 games where he hit 4 or more threes. Can Miles Turner finally give you a real offensive punch? And that's how you get to your 115, because I just don't think they are. You can hope Oklahoma City misses shots. Like, you can hope they miss shots. But aside from that, I don't think Indiana has the defensive personnel to shut Oklahoma City down. I don't think they can beat this team 98-92. You know what I mean? I just don't see. I don't think
that's not their game anyway. And they've played good defense, but OKC
still finds a way to score.
They have to do 2 things. One is they're going to turn the ball over sometimes. Don't get crazy with the turnovers, and then don't let OKC convert them into points. The only game OKC did that in was Game 5.
Yep.
So that just shifted the whole game and got OKC out going in transition. So if they can cut down on OKC's points after turnovers, and then they have to hit threes. They didn't shoot well from three in Game 5. They have to hit. Didn't in Game 4 either, really. But they got to hit some threes, which they should be able to do at home. Turner's due.
Turner is due. My goodness.
They're open. Haliburton is the main story. He played a lot of minutes, didn't make a shot, only took 6 shots, had 4 points. I think he's going to start, so let's just assume for this conversation he's starting. We'll go to you, bro. At the end of the first quarter, what will make you say, oh, no, this is not going my way? Regardless of the score, Haliburton's personal stat line.
How he's moving. It won't even be the personal stat line because, as I said,
stat lines have not been good early in these games.
And he, as I said, in Game 5, his aggressiveness or lack thereof was similar to how he's been all series. So I'm not going to, it's going to be, is he clearly limping? Like you could see when Aaron Gordon played in Game 7 for Denver against OKC, you could see physically he was, fighting through it, but he just didn't have any burst. That's what if I don't see any burst, you see he's clearly slower, hindered, whatever it might be, then that's when I'm going to be concerned. But it's not going to be based on his stat line.
This is something I think you enjoy quite a bit. I think Brew will look at Liz foolishness.
This is when the show is at its best.
So, if you're rooting for the Pacers.
Yep. Which I kind of am.
Right, but
excuse me. I 100% am.
I don't know.
I picked the Pacers.
If they win, I don't think you get.
Would you right now sign up for a 14-point, 8-assist, 6-rebound game from Tyrese Haliburton? That you're locked in. The reason for the question is say no to that. Obviously you could have this monster game or also a no-show. 14, 8, and 6.
14, 8 rebounds.
No, 8 assists. I'm sorry. So 14, 6, and 8 is how I should have said it.
I am not signing up for that.
Okay. So,
oddly,
so
I
you
need
think
more
they
points.
need more than that from Haliburton?
I think you need more.
I agree with you.
I think you need more. And then I also think I like when he drives. I like when he initiates contact. I like when they play such an aggressive defensive style. And this goes back to Haberstroh's article. I like when he's taking free throws. Everybody can get a breather. Maybe OKC also.
KW, I don't mean to interrupt your analysis.
Nick's hype.
This is major news. I mean, we
might get there before
we might
the
get there. We might get there during the show.
We just lost one.
We might.
I look at it.
Lose one. Somebody unsubscribe.
We lost.
Just let it happen. Just let
now
it
we're back.
happen. You
The
can't
person is just
manufacture.
toying with us.
You got to be like Haliburton and let the game come
to 1 million during the show, we're having a celebration.
I
the
also
whole thing's
like
derailed.
Get some banners up there.
This was an early.
Where are the trumpeters?
This was a late idea. Does it say something underneath there, Gianna?
Subscribers.
This
what
is
accurate.
So what?
Yes.
It's just in general.
People, we know it. We're crushing. We're crushing. Buddy.
Okay, people don't know what they're subscribing to.
You know what I'm starting
This could
to
be
feel?
up all the time. Wow, first at 9, we're back down.
No,
I'm starting to get a tickle in my belly.
Yeah,
like Benedict Mathurin.
Oh,
no, we can't do it. They're on the same channel, both of those things. All right, moving on to the other side of the ball. Thunder are on the doorstep of their first franchise championship. If they win tonight, they will have had one of the most successful seasons in NBA history by the numbers, bro. Most wins in a season.
Drew's already annoyed.
If OKC wins the title. You've got the, legendary teams here. The Warriors,
who didn't win the
Bulls,
title.
97 Bulls. Still, a lot of wins. So if they raise the trophy, would you consider OKC an all-time great?
If they win this championship, mad love to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The great Sam Presti, who is phenomenal. For him to, he is the one that brought the big three together in the first place with Harden, Durant, and Westbrook.
Yep.
To lose those guys, two of them just left you. In free agent. It was Harden to trade.
Harden was
he
a
was
trade,
gonna
but
leave,
Harden was a
it
trade to Houston, but they didn't get a
wouldn't
bunch.
give him the
They got
max.
Jeremy Lamb, turned into
They just
Steven
took
Adams.
what they could get because he was leaving.
Exactly.
And obviously Durant walked out the door. And then to rebuild this quickly.
Well, it's been
Well, I mean, it's hard to do, though.
But
It's
keep in
hard
mind,
to
think about it
rebuild
like this. In 17, Russ is
actually
their
still
winning
pretty
MVP.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what I
got
mean?
Paul
In
George.
2020, they're in the bubble with Chris Paul.
Yep.
You know what I mean? In the playoffs.
Different
He has just made great
So
moves
they only
after
bottomed
great
out
moves
for 2 years.
after great moves.
Yeah.
So if he gets his championship, which is well deserved, I mean,
Yeah.
props to him. But no, 1,000 times no. I mean, no. Look, they will be the second youngest team ever to win an NBA
Isn't that
championship.
potentially an argument in their favor?
For the future, sure. And I'm leaving some room for the future. Hear me out. But right now, no way. Look at the all-time great teams. The Jordan Bulls.
They were just
They are obviously not putting them with them. The KD Steph Warriors. Indiana has one definite bucket, and he's a second or third tier bucket, and that's Pascal Siakam. And they're giving them all they want.
Well.
Denver had Jokic, who's obviously great, but MPJ couldn't even lift his arm above his shoulder, and Aaron Gordon played Game 7 on was it torn hamstring? I think it ended up being torn.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah.
Torn hamstring. So again, not taking anything away from him because I don't diminish any championships. I don't care what injuries there
but
are.
whether or not
But
you
all
romp
time,
through the playoffs has to matter.
yes.
That part is fair, KW.
And this is where you talked about the future. You brought it up, Nick. This has to play out because if in 5 years from now they've won even one title, maybe two, and SGA, who will still be a superstar, but Jalen has become a superstar. Chet is a guy, makes a couple All-Stars. Then you're looking at, this is a legit big three, and these dudes are great players, and this was an all-time great team. But that's the only one-off, because I mentioned the Bulls, the Warriors, Shaq, Kobe, Lakers, Showtime Lakers, 86 Celtics, who won 3 championships. I'm not putting them with any of those teams. The only one-off is the 83 Sixers with Moses Malone, a 3-time MVP in his prime, Dr. J in his prime, obviously some other great players.
And I don't even really consider them a one-off. They had won the East 3 of the previous 6
right.
years.
And then Moses went there.
Then Moses got there. So here's
I can't put them with those guys.
I'm going to try to
and that team was 12-1 in the playoffs.
I'm going to try to meet you in the middle of where I think you want us to be.
Okay, how do you know where I was?
Because I know you and
you
I saw
wanted
your
to make
body
Boston
language.
an all-time great.
No, I think that I think it's unfair when you're talking about a team for a year that we end up expanding way
was
out.
Boston an all-time great team last year? Everybody thinks so, and everybody thought they were going to win it this year. Now what? Now we're like, no way.
Here is the argument backing up what Bruce said, and then I'm going to make an argument I think about that backs up where I think you are. When we talk about the best teams ever, for most fans, you're actually not talking about 1 year.
Right.
It is teams like if I say to you, we're the Showtime Lakers, one of the best teams ever. Your answer would be yes.
I'm thinking like a decade.
Right, but if I'm like, okay, what's their best season? Like, we might have different answers. I think it's 85. Some people would say it's 87. There's different arguments. Yeah. The 86 Celtics are probably definitively the best of that Celtics run. People talking about that run. The Jordan Bulls, people will jump to 96 because they won the 72 games. I don't think that was the best Bull. I think the 92 Bulls, their second championship, was their most dominant team ever. And the Shaq, Kobe, Lakers, I think it was the 01 team. But it's usually, when we talk about best team,